Welcome back, guys, to round 2 of the Pro League Grand Playoffs here. We have CJ versus the Thin Air Green Wings. It's all tied up at 1-1.
That it is. We saw Kier try to kind of reinvent that map. Really cool harassment, but just wasn't able to take that fight he needed. And we're going into Game 3 now, ladies and gentlemen. So the winner of this will take a lead, take that advantage.
It's going to be probably the best match we're going to have, I think, in at least the initial lineup with ByuL versus SOS. ByuL, multiple-time finalist in Star Leagues recently, and SOS, the guy that all-killed KT just last week.
Yeah, ByuL just having some trouble in these grand finals. We'll see if his mentality is affected. We saw he was very emotional, even not being shown on camera at the end of the Star League finals, just kind of running out of the booth, very emotional there. But he has been the one to carry his team in these important Pro League matches in the past.
Yeah, definitely has been, but this guy has been as well. Very recently, coming in here for his team, making sure it did not get to that Game 3 when we thought that all hope was lost. We didn't actually believe in this guy to go for that all-kill against KT, but he did it.
He did it. He defeated Flash, TY, Zest, and Stats. He didn't have to deal with a Zerg player there, and that could be his weakness here today.
He just traveled overseas. He's back. He's got that upwards arrow, the red arrow for that reverse all-kill. I favor him personally. I voted for him here. Me and Kanata are the only ones, but I think that he's got too much momentum, and I feel like ByuL has too much momentum against him, and I think he's really personally upset with what happened to him in those finals. I feel like he's a great player. I don't want to take anything away from him, but I just have to give a slight edge to SOS here.
Is ByuL going to be able to continue fighting here for his team in Pro League, or is he going to be a bit down? Or as SOS looking fantastic, not looking nervous at all. ByuL is 6-4 against SOS. Got a slight lead in this advantage. They had one big series in GSL. I think ByuL won that one 4-2. That may have been last season. Regardless, he was able to take it.
Yep. I mean, he's in another GSL Grand Finals as well. So this guy, he's still on fire right now. Despite these heartbreaking losses, he can still do this. So,
well, let's see if we can take game number 3 on Coda right now. Up here in the top left, in the yellow, the Zerg player for CJ Entis. It is ByuL.
And down near the bottom right in green, the reverse all-killer of KT Rolster on day 2 last week. It is SOS. We fly to the victory. Generic Green Wings fans. Now, SOS, of course, we talked about his loss versus ByuL in GSL in the 4-2 type series. He's best in a best-of-1, though, and that's why we didn't really have faith that he would be able to do 4 back-to-back, show 4 different unique styles, because he's known for kind of being cheesy, being aggressive, and you would think that eventually that would wear off and someone would have put a stop to him, but he was able to play 4 different unique types of games, even some macro games, end up winning that reverse all-kill. I think he's got so much momentum right now in this league.
Well, let's see how he starts things off here. We actually are seeing that pile, but no follow-up. Oh, man, that is sick.
Archon, though. Not sure whether it's like a bullet bill on the left side, but...
Yeah. Well,
bullet bill, that's a Zergling. Well, this is kind of interesting. SOS sending over this very early scout just to make sure ByuL isn't doing anything weird, and also could possibly harass a bit here.
Yeah, harassment, deny that hatchery, keep him honest, make sure he's not doing anything overly greedy. And beyond that, it's such a flexible build as well when you scout this early. He can go for a gateway if he sees a pool. He can go for a forge if he desires. It really is all up to him.
It really does. It's a frustrating situation for the Zerg player because his hatchery is now going to be significantly delayed. Not only does he have to go pool first, as you were mentioning, but even after that, the hatchery is just going to simply be delayed. Might even place a pylon here and cancel it just to ensure that hatch is delayed. 2 drones already being pulled, so if he wants to deny this further, he will have to pylon. And he looks like he's just going to give it up.
Pylon will be a bit greedy from SOS. He's still going to stick around, actually, maybe just poke in.
Yeah, scout the gas timings is the next really big step here. You need to figure out exactly when Zergling speed is going to be on the map, so you can be ready for it. But
the Overlord's already seen the gateway, so ByuL knows what he's up against.
yeah, just a very greedy, gateway expand at the front base there.
Bulgaria supports CJ. Storm there. There's like a bunch of foreign fans through there.
Yeah.
Everywhere, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're all on holiday still, right? So they can actually come down to the studio for once.
Great time to be in Korea.
Yep. It's also got the best weather around this time of year in the fall. It got decently cold recently, but then it got hot a bit during the days. But nowadays, it's getting back into that cold kind of sense as we go into October.
It's nice. It's going to be a great time to go to that Pro League final. 2 weeks. That's the best kind of weather, man. I look at the forecast and it's like, oh, today it's going to be Pro League Grand Finals at Latte World. So, best weather.
Best weather is Pro League Finals.
I'm very
you guys
interested
heard it here.
I'm very interested to see how this build for SOS is going to unwind, and we do see that probe on the map still hidden away in a pretty decent spot. If he wants to throw out a pylon there, maybe he wants to be aggressive on 2 base.
He hasn't started Warp Gate research, and he's chrono boosting instead a Mothership and a Stalker, but he needs Warp Gate research.
Yeah,
was that a missed chrono or something?
He can afford that as well, at any time. I think he just forgot it.
Yeah, we never see this, actually.
Well, this is how ByuL gets an easy win.
He's just going to use it instead for more gateway units. Maybe he sees that the third base is coming up and he just wants to put on the super heavy pressure also for going to Warp Gate research.
Sure, I mean, you can just have it researching while this is all happening.
He's just chrono boosting out Stalkers. Now he starts it so late and Lings get in. This is so bad. His Zealots aren't doing any harassment. I think he's a bit flustered here by everything that's happening.
He's also got a proxy Stargate here.
Yeah.
And then starts the Warp Gate research. I think this is almost a prepared build from SOS, just based on the timing of everything.
We'll have to see if it works out because the plan is shown here. You're going to see in just a second those Spore Crawlers go down because he knows what's up. Needs to defend here with these queens, but he's got plenty as well as the Lynx to tank. And, gets a surround as well.
Yeah, going to kill one of these Zealots. Another one of them getting very low here. And that harass will be pushed out. The Lynx are still in the main, by the way, which is denying one of these Stalkers. The Overlord does not see that Stargate just yet.
He's got a lot of queens, so he can deflect this. He might even want to go for some blind spores, which we have seen him do multiple times before.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised if he doesn't do that because he's been doing that so much. Versus other players, including Hero, he did play against in the Grand Finals just recently. We also saw him do it versus Classic last season. But this Queen might get assassinated. Nah, just too many Lings here. And that Mothership core taking quite a bit of damage. He's not going to lose it, but there's just a lot of investment in Chrono to find no damage.
Here we go, only one Queen in the main, and the Oracle's just going to get to work here. There is no Spore. And he had no idea about this. So this is the damage that SOS was going for. Surprise Oracle going to lose it here.
He loses it. The second one is on the way. He needs to spore up.
Yeah, he'll spore up from here. At least he's got the queen count, so maybe he's not. Maybe he doesn't desire to go for those spores at all. He's like, you know what, I can deflect them if I need to, but the queens have to be in place.
This is just an uncharacteristic mistake, just simply considering he already saw there was nothing in the main. It was almost clearly a proxy Stargate. The spore's not ready, and look at this.
Spore's not done. Where are the queens? The creep is not connected to his natural, so it's going to take a while for them to get up here. And again, the Oracle comes in and get a huge amount of damage. He's going to save this one after getting 6 kills.
There's 12 kills all up, I believe, and while it's still happening, the third base gets up. Some Lings could deny it if there's nothing here, but there is that Mothership core, and the Link count is small enough that it shouldn't be able to cancel anything.
Yeah, a good micro here, but I just don't think even with this little cute kiting it's going to matter, especially because he can just send his small little gateway army over to help defend. ByuL is not in a terrible place by any means, but he definitely took a lot more damage than he should have. And now the Oracle is going to help defend that third base. Is always going to be looking for a fourth base.
It's kind of a funny build from SOS. You know, you just wouldn't expect the Oracle to come out after that timing when you have this many gateway units coming across the map like this. And I guess it was just do a ton of damage and eventually just keep ByuL on his side of the map while you take a third base. That kind of very aggressive style. And even though the gateway part didn't really work out, the oracles did.
Yeah, you know, you talk about this a lot, Valdez, actually, about how good SOS's control is with his oracles. And we're seeing him, he's like, oh, no Spore Coil here. I don't care if you have queens. I'll find 2 more kills. You come back later. If Spore's still not there, he's going to get more kills. 1 Spore now being added, an additional 1.
He finds it finally. And look at this, 1-1 for the Ling upgrades are on the way. So once you go into that Ling style and maybe eventually transition to those Ultras in the late game. But for SOS, it's just going to be that Blink Stalker upgrades and maybe a timing with Blink Stalker Sentry eventually.
Yeah, he's making a ton of sentries right now. Wants to start building that energy. I think it's just going to be Blink Stalkers plus 2, that Sentry attack.
And look at what ByuL's making. 2 Hydralisk Dens, and a Rotorn, and a Spire. 3 Hydralisk Dens.
3 Hydra Dens!
3 Hydra Dens, guys.
Oh, man.
It's like the triple armory we saw last game.
Wow. Well, let's see how that works out. I don't know.
I'm thinking we're seeing some nerfs here.
He got rid of 1.
Okay, but he's still got 2.
It might be intentional that he wants to. Pretty unlikely, but possible.
No. 1 finished, actually.
Oh.
Second one finishes, and now the third one's going to finish.
Ew.
Oh, no, I think he canceled it. Second Spire on the way, guys.
Though. Oh,
we got
man.
that here as well.
This is actually out of control. Why is he making so much stuff? Is he actually losing his mind right now?
Well, I think he might, man. He might lose this game. He's only got 7 Hydras on the way, and this is a very aggressive attack. It's going to start clearing up creep. He's going to get a pylon into position so that he can actually do that Blink Stalker attack. He's already got a decent Stalker count.
This map is also pretty scary. If you can force field a natural, you can get straight up into that third. This is a really nice run by them.
Yeah, he actually warps in Stalkers. I guess he wants them to be part of his composition after he defends the harass, but they're actually just going to die. I'm a bit surprised he's committing to that instead of 2 Zealots who would have done a lot more for him here.
Lings get out as well. Very nicely done there. Just a little bit of harassment, slowing everything down here. Second Spire, I mean, it's ambitious. It's so greedy. And if SOS is going for a timing, he could just very well die.
No, Blink is going to be done. Should be able to kill his Overseer easy peasy. Overseer does not really see much. He sees a few extra gateways added. Ooh, that's important. That means no more detection.
No detection, no scouting, no revelations. It's a powerful thing to stop at this point.
Cancels the second Spire, gets an Infestation Pit, it looks like.
Wow. Like, he is just...
He's all over the place.
Building mistakes again and again. It's very uncharacteristic.
I'm looking back at him. He doesn't look very nervous. I think it may just be a bit of autopilot after that very strange opening. He's like, oh, I haven't seen this before. I'm kind of shaken up a bit. And maybe just got into his head a little bit.
There's no forward pylon. This is just pressure, it looks like, from this Gateway army. He's going to the Templar Archives back and home charge. +2 will finish. He'll start +3. I think he doesn't think there's a 4th because he hasn't sent anything over to that 4th. The Oracle was on the way to check it when it died, but I don't think he's actually seen that 4th base, so he doesn't know what's coming his way. Psystorm is on the way.
Perfect counter to this army, that's for sure. Even the composition right now, that's a pretty decent-sized army to Stalker Sentry that could deal with the amount of Ling Hydra currently. But he's going to go into... It looks like he will go for that Ultras eventually. He's going to that Hive now, 2-2 on the way. And Pathogen Glands, so Infestors as well.
What do you think about this Infestor choice versus this comp?
I think it's a good choice. A good choice for Blink Stalkers. But when it gets a bit later and we're seeing Immortals come out, Archons, I'm not sure. We'll soon find out.
Templar already on the map as well, which he hasn't seen. No way that gets away. Actually, no.
Yeah, does go down. Another huge run by into that third, and no response just yet from SOS. He's just going to warp in and puts an overcharge.
Yeah, several cannons there he added as well. It's going to be tough to find damage. Storm's going to finish, and if these Hydras get force fielded into Storms, this is going to be a bad, bad place for ByuL. This is not a good place to fight either. Look at these force fields already turning the tide of this fight.
And once that Storm finishes, which it just did right now.
Oh, man, there's no way out. If he force fields this army off.
These force fields, where are they?
A bit too slow.
Yeah, all the 4th sentries just didn't have any energy either, but Storm means he can actually just bulldoze this army. There's no way it's going to be in position. It can't sit there and fight. It's got to retreat. It's got to split.
I'm starting to see sort of what might be coming along with this. I mean, we'll see an Ultralisk Cavern eventually, but we are seeing a Baneling Nest as well, and we might try to lock down the army and then crash into it with Banelings. There are a lot of charged Zealots in the mix at this moment in time as well, so not a terrible choice, but just non-standard.
The amount of Infestors as well is actually crazy at this point of the game. 8 Infestors like this, it's pretty powerful. If he can like lock down the army before Storm comes down on them or feedback, maybe he has a good shot at it.
Look at this Nexus placement as well. It's an incredibly forward Nexus. It's such an aggressive way of playing this matchup. It's just constantly attacking and defending at the same time. And here we go. We're going to see this engage. The Fungals here on only Zealots, and they're still defending here against these Lings.
And the Storms are fantastic, hitting a lot of those Hydras in the back. The Zealots are still not down.
This
Looks
is
like some of them are popping now, but it just doesn't matter.
Incredibly one-sided fight. A weak composition here for ByuL. And Baneling's coming out, getting some okay hits. Zealot's tanking it like the campaign video we just saw.
Like a champ, I thought you were going to say, because that's exactly how they took it. Now they're going to come in here, and there's just way too much Protoss on the front door of ByuL.
ByuL is remaxing with Hydras as well. He doesn't have any other tech, and all those Hydras and Lings that come out are just going to get wiped here by this heavily upgraded Protoss army that has Blink, Charge, and Archons in it, not to mention Storms that he can add as well. This is it. This is game over here, and SOS is going to take it.
Very convincing game here. It's still pretty even in terms of supply, but when a Zerg production is being kind of cut in half and then Protoss armies in the middle of it all, it makes it so much more difficult.
Look at these force fields as well, trapping drones. DTs as well. We forgot to mention that Dark Shrine. I didn't think it was going to come into play, but guess what? Here they are.
Now, where are your Overseers? He's got to desperately get some up now, but
it's a more efficient way to make make Archons as well if he gets scouted, or rather if there's an Overseer that he can't kill. One of these Hydras dens will go down. Luckily, he's got spares. GG.
GG's not going to matter. SOS coming in once again, going to take down ByuL.
Yeah, ByuL did not play that game well one bit. He was making mistakes with his build order. He was making multiple of the same buildings. 3 Hydra dens. Something's really going wrong with your mentality, with your focus, if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think Kanata probably is thinking the same line of thought. If you look at these two players and look at the recent results over the last month even, it's a no-brainer vote for ByuL, right? But if you look at his repeated losses in finals, his mindset after that loss in the finals, and you look at SOS's mindset just tearing through KT Rolster, winning alone and coming to the series where he's got a ton of fans and new fans as well, cheering him on. You know, he's not going to play nervous. He's not going to make mistakes. I don't even feel like that was the most perfect game we saw from SOS. He even forgot workgate research. It's just that ByuL was looking very nervous and looking very off. It was more like he lost his own game in his head before SOS even did anything.
Yeah, ByuL definitely not having the best game there, and that means some serious bad news for CJ Anthus, because that was one of their heavy hitters. They needed that win, but instead the heavy hitter from Janair wins. So that's going to give them the lead here, 2-1. And give them a much better chance. Now at PvP, Sora versus Trap, heavily favoring Trap, so it's going to give Janair even more momentum, unless Sora can really bring out some of his old PvP, which he was good 1 or 2 years ago, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since we've seen him play.
Yeah, it really has. But you know, his PvP back then was usually unique. It was more about finding an answer to the map. We saw his play on Maze, for example, was pretty out there, but he figured out how to play the map kind of faster than everybody else. Yeah. And you know, he's really a strategist type guy, similar to Hush, his teammate, who's also really good in PvP.
I would definitely agree with you there. He's definitely a guy who's going to sit down, look at the map he's playing, which, by the way, is going to be Cactus Valley, a very big map. You know, if he was going to go for some kind of crazy air style again, maybe this is the map to do it on. But This is going to be a very interesting PvP because, as you said, Sora very thinking Protoss versus Trap. I think, you know, mechanically, experience-wise, definitely a bit ahead of Sora.
You guys give the vote to Trap on this one?
Certainly, yeah.
I actually give it to Sora. I think his PvP is better overall. I think he's got a really prepared strategy going to this. I think Trap is either going to be aggressive or have a specific, you know, sort of just mindset of, oh, I'm just going to play standard, I'm better than Sora kind of idea. We also saw Trap play some really sloppy games last week. He didn't show the best play overall in his game versus Flash, for example. And we saw just some weird stuff go on, just to put it simply. He was playing very nervous.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the guys that struck me as like one of the most nervous players from the last week. So I hope he's kind of gotten over that from last week and can come into this one with a bit of that confidence, saying, hey, I am a bit better than Sora.
And that being said, also, Janair has the advantage right now. So there's less fear, there's less stress on Trap, and there's a lot more pressure on Sora, someone who doesn't have as much booth experience as Trap does overall. He hasn't been played, he hasn't been fielded as much.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. I don't know the stat off the top of my head, but I know that Sora maybe played like 1 or 2 games this season.
Yeah, he's always been part of the team, but we just never see him play.
He played way more last year. Probably played like 10 or 15 games at least. And this year we didn't see him. We saw a lot of players for both of these teams actually kind of fall off the map, like Byung, like Pure. This